yeah, which seems to be happening a lot, especially with female characters or female villains, which
Yeah.
supposedly, and well, I can't speak on this because I haven't watched it because I don't hate
Mm.
myself enough. But from what everyone seems to be saying is that that's exactly how they've written Galadriel in Rings of Power, and she's not even supposed to be a villain, but everyone hates her apparently. So that's good. Um, even the other characters in the show. So I don't know what's going on with that. Have you seen it, Rings of Power? Have you
No,
watched
but
any of
I've
it?
seen people talk about it and I've seen the
Yeah,
memes. Enough for me to be able to
I've seen.
filter
Yeah,
what kind of happened. I'm
I've
not
seen
watching that
clips.
garbage.
Yeah, no,
I
no, no,
will
neither.
always love Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. I grew up on
Mm,
that. That's the reason why I love
mm,
fantasy.
mm,
It's my favorite to this day. I watch it when I'm depressed because it makes me optimistic
yeah.
again. Like it's the best thing Tolkien could have ever done for all of us. And for them to go and spit on his story, to spit on Peter Jackson's adaptation
Mm,
is astounding to me because you had everything you needed. You just
mm,
literally had to copy and paste. Like this is one of the
mm,
times where it's like, "Hey, can I like copy your homework?" It's like, "Yeah, but like change the answers, but you don't really change the answers." Like that's one of the situations you should have done this for. But instead they're like,
mm.
"No, we're going to do Tolkien for a modern audience." And it's like, but this wasn't written during our time and it doesn't take place during our time. So that makes no
All that,
sense.
yeah. All that means is that they're gonna put like their own belief system into it. But the other thing with that
Yeah.
is that that will date the show. It won't be
Yep.
timeless. Like because if you know it will date it. People will watch it and oh well that's really from it just like whereas I mean I don't know how timeless it will be, but the original Lord of the Rings or trilogy feels timeless. Like you could watch
Mhm.
it now and even there's certain visual things that kind of date it a bit, but not really. It's like it's got that kind of timeless feeling to it, and I feel like it will have that for quite a long time. But I just can't see that happening with from what I've seen of the Rings of Power, and what people have said about it. I have to say I do feel a bit vindicated though because that was my crit. I was like I feel like they're gonna mess up Galadriel, and then some people were like, no, you're jumping the gun, you're wrong.
I remember
And I
that.
haven't seen it,
Yeah.
but from the reaction, I'm like, I feel vindicated because I think I'm everyone. Yeah, I feel like I was right with that.
You should
Every
make
clip I've
another
seen of her,
video. Be like, I
yeah,
told
maybe
you.
if the only way I'd watch it is if I'd yeah, exactly. I told you so. I told you all. But every clip I've seen of her, she's angry.
Oh my
Every clip
gosh,
I've seen of
yeah.
the show, she's just angry.
I
Like
know that
yeah.
face. I can't. She looks like a Gollum sometimes with her face. Like no hate against the actress. I think it's just like they don't understand Galadriel. And like I didn't read the books. I couldn't get
Mm.
past Tom Bombadil, whatever his name is. I couldn't get past that
I
part
love it.
in the
I loved
book.
him. I loved him.
Um,
I wish he'd been in the movie.
but in the movie, like Kate Blanchett set the standard for
Oh yeah.
Galadriel, and that's all people really are going to definitely compare her to because most people saw the
Mm.
movies even if they didn't read the books. And for you to come on and you're like angry, not necessarily elegant, like I didn't like her dresses. Like that's the part that really threw me off. Like I saw a dress and to me it looked like it didn't look feminine. Like it looked oddly masculine. Like the line where you would put like above your chest or near your waist, it was like above her boobs and it just looked off to
Mm.
me. I was like that doesn't look feminine. Like it was bothering me cuz when I think of Galadriel, I
Mm.
think of like her white dress and how it flows and it's very elegant, very feminine. It like fits her figure. But with that I was just like that I don't know why, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Send it back. Send it back.
Mm.
It's crazy to me. It really is. And the idea, I don't really picture Galadriel like fighting, like not like she wouldn't necessarily help with combat, but I don't see her with a sword. I see her using her
Well, here's the thing.
magic.
Because everyone got like there was a lot of people got really mad at me for my like criticism of that where I was like well
Mm-hmm.
because the writers described her they were writing this new Galadriel as being full of piss and vinegar, which definitely is that's what I think of when I think of Galadriel, but because and I'm not I've read the Lord of the Rings, I've read the Hobbit, I love those stories, I read them when I was a kid, I read them again, and but I'm not like I I'm not really well versed on the like the wider law of
Mm-hmm.
like the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, yeah. So, I'm not the best person to go to stuff like that. But because I looked into it before and I was like, look, this is not the Galadriel I remember from reading like, the main books and everything. And then from what I could find out about it, maybe some people correct me, but there is reference to her. I think there's a couple of references to her fighting. And this is for me, like looking into, I didn't go and then read like everything he's written about it, but I went
Mm-hmm.
and looked into what, he said about her specifically. And it's that there's references to her or say that she's fighting, but I think it's vague and it's not clear whether like actually whether it was with magic or with a sword. And then there's other things, and some people getting mad at me. Oh, there's this that she like led an army into battle, or she did this, or she went. I'm like, I would actually have no problem with that. Like if she's leading, but that's really different. Like that kind of reminds me of Queen Elizabeth I. Like it's more like a show, like putting on armor and going out in front of the soldiers, and like that doesn't necessarily have to translate to stabbing people. It kind of ruins, and not even just from a femininity perspective, but just from the fact that the character, whether she'd been male or female, seems above that. Like there's something that it's almost like disrespectful to like the fact this character almost seems so wise and so beyond that
Yes.
being
Yeah.
someone who's like whether if she'd been a man or like
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, but because that was my thing. It's like, look, the interpretation is vague. You could interpret Galadriel as being a physical fighter. I don't think it's ever really actually that clear on that. There's reference to her being athletic, but that's
Mm-hmm.
different. Um, and leading people. And I wouldn't have like had a problem with that. But it's and also if I'd felt like it was genuine and they were like, right, it'd be interesting to interpret Tolkien's work this way. And we can we could interpret this because he's left it quite vague. We could interpret it as her being like a really badass fighter. But my whole point with that was that it feels part of a greater trend of I don't really think it was they decided this would be best for the story. It's like, oh, let's let's you know femininity is not enough. It kind of felt like that, like, oh, here's another feminine character and we're going to take that away because and it kind of felt that was my problem with it. It's like disrespectful to how she how we've all come to know her as this cultural icon. It just feels like you're going, yeah, but can she stab someone with a sword? So we're gonna strip because femininity is not enough. It's not, you have to be strong in a way that's typically masculine in order to be strong. And that was like, I was like, that's insulting.
Yeah.
I guess to women and to kind of the original character, because she's not, that's never been what she's admired for. And it feels, yeah, it kind of feels like
Mm-hmm.
stripping that away. Well, and I don't know. I'll at some point I feel like I should maybe watch it to see if I was right. But it seems to me that everyone hates her, so I'm like, yes.
I mean, on one hand, I don't want you to suffer, but on the other hand, I would watch your reaction to it. So, the ball's in your court either way, but I think it would be entertaining to see your full
Yeah.
thoughts on it.
I I've just been enjoying the memes about it. I haven't even like I did the memes of like what is it? Not Sauron, where everyone like knew immediately from like the first episode or whatever
You know what
who
annoys me
he
the
was.
most about that situation, even though I haven't watched the show, but I've watched the films, is that she was with Sauron, and because she declines his marriage proposal or whatever the freak, like, he full-fledged becomes Sauron, whatever. And I'm like,
Did that happen? Is that
yes. I saw it on Twitter, and I was just like,
Oh my God.
so then why would she accept his rings, like in the prologue of the movie, where she says that, like, basically Sauron tricked everyone into getting rings, the dwarves, the men, elves, everybody and their mother, and then he had the one ring to rule them all. Why would she fall for that if she knew it was coming from, like, her ex-stalker, not really boyfriend? Like, who does that? Like, I thought elves were intelligent, no matter how old they are. Like
Yeah,
that
they
literally
don't
broke
seem to
the
be.
lore.
Yeah. From the reviews, I think I have enjoyed watching just the reviews of it because it's been so funny. I mean, the Critical Drinker has done quite a few really funny videos on Rings of
Yeah,
Power, and I enjoyed watching them. Um,
I don't,
but yeah,
I don't know. I
from
agree
what I'm
with
hearing
you.
secondhand, it doesn't seem to be the best show that they could have made.
No, no, but
And
people
so
are
much
trying
money.
to
so much
judge
money
it.
thrown at it, and then
So much money compared to the original Lord of the Rings, and that
yeah,
still looks better than their
yeah,
effects. Like, they look like they're on stages half the time from the clips I've seen, but Lord of the Rings looks
yeah.
like, I don't know, they actually went to New Zealand.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you can't just throw money at something and expect it to be good.
Yeah.
Like
No,
you need like
definitely.
actually good writers, or well, you know what? Like I feel like a genuine passion for the work or making something good
Precisely.
is worth more than like loads and loads. Obviously, you need money to do it, but that would make up for any like lacking in visuals, or I feel like that's way more
But
important.
you know what they would argue? The showrunners, they'd be like, we did have passion for it. And it's like, well, then I guess the bigger issue is that you didn't know how to prioritize the characters and story over your own
Yeah, I don't,
intentions and
I don't
agendas.
I'm not sure. I have seen some interviews and people sort of talking about this. I don't. I just think certainly from Amazon, it's definitely just money making.
Yeah.
But I'm not even necessarily sure I believe like the writers, if they have genuine passion for it. Because it's like, but like if it's true, from the clips I've seen and from what people said, and it could be, I hold my hands up, could be 100% wrong. Maybe I will watch The Rings of Power and I'll be like, guys, you're all wrong. It's the best thing I've ever seen. That could happen. But from what I've kind of heard of it and how they've just like wrecked the story and disrespected it, I just have a hard time believing that they like love it. I think they like, oh, we like some of the ideas, but wouldn't it be better if we did it like
Wouldn't
our
it
way,
be better if
like
Galadriel was a bitch and she was a
yeah.
badass and like dwarves were black and hobbits were psychos and elves were black but also like
I
other
I heard that about
things?
the Hobbits. The Hobbits
Oh,
apparently. Oh, I think it's frozen. It seems to be.
let me see.
I can still hear it. I think it's still working.
I think it's my internet being silly.
Okay. Is it working again?
Yeah, it's working again. That's
Woo!
literally
There we
never
go.
happened before. I have no idea why that happened. I'm sorry.
No, it's because we were shit talking the Rings of Power. So someone up at Amazon clearly. Oh,
Yeah. I don't know.
that's how
I
bad it is. We haven't even seen it and we're shit talking it. That's how much things.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I think like the idea that maybe Galadriel would like be at the battle to like encourage people or like I don't know, like if she fought, I just don't see her with a sword. Like I see her just using her magic or something cuz like she was that powerful that like it kind
Mm,
of put people in awe. I
mm,
think, especially when the Fellowship like meets her and her husband, like they're kind of like awestruck because they could probably sense just like how powerful she was, and
mm.
so I don't see this need to like get
And
in
how
the
and how
dirt, you know.
yeah. But how wise as well. That was like the main thing about her is how like even Gandalf admires how wise she is and how, even he takes her advice and he's like really wise. So it's like, yeah, it's almost like as well, there's like a disrespect towards wisdom now in characters. Whether it's like
Oh,
can
definitely.
you
Have you seen
you know what I
TikTok? No, I'm
mean?
kidding.
It's like TikTok.
I hate TikTok. I don't have it anymore because it makes you depressed about
No, what's
like
annoying is
uh,
they're making Instagram TikTok. I don't even have TikTok, but I see loads of
oh my
TikTok
gosh, yeah,
videos.
the reels and stuff. Like that's the only way
And
now to basically
YouTube's
promote
now
it
TikTok
with the
with
shorts.
YouTube
Yeah.
Shorts. I hate that. I hate it. Oh. And then sometimes, I mean, I'm not online a lot, but occasionally I'll like watch and then find myself and I'm like, why am I watching shorts about stuff I don't even care about? Or like, I
Yeah.
know why they do it because it's great at grabbing your attention and,
Right.
but I hate them. I hate YouTube Shorts. Yeah.
I hope there's like an alternative to YouTube one day because I'll jump on that so quick and leave YouTube in the
Yeah.
dust.
Yeah. I mean, there are other platforms, but not really any serious competitors out
Yeah.
there at the minute.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy like they're even making female heroes basically into villains, but they're not self-aware enough to realize like this person is actually a jerk or evil or whatever. And like Galadriel's not the only one. Black Widow, they messed up her
Mm.
story. Although Black Widow, like if I did her origin story, like I would show that she used to be like an assassin who killed people. Like she did actually have blood in her ledger. Like I would be realistic with that and like because it's like her origin story, so like
Mm.
it's not who she stays, like she becomes a better person and kind of redeems herself. But they didn't even do that. They kind of made her worse than that with the whole serum thing and like abandoning her sister and like all this stuff that you're just like, why did you add this to her story like last minute? Like you, it makes her look horrible. Like, and it's not even an origin story because it's taking place like not quite current day, but like after Civil War or something like that, like before she dies, basically. And you're just like, this doesn't fit like Natasha at all. Like that's weird. But the worst contender is She-Hulk, and that pisses me off because I loved She-Hulk from the cartoons. She was one of my favorites outside of Hawkgirl from DC, and they literally did a train wreck to her. And I
I
hope
haven't.
Marvel
I've
burns.
seen. I've seen. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I've seen I've seen clips, and they just it looks so bad. There's that twerking one going around. I'm like, what's happening here? What is this? What is this show? What's going on?
Hell has
Um,
been unleashed on the
wasn't it?
earth.
Isn't it with who is it? Oh, is it Megan the Stallion or Megan the
Hmm.
Stallion? Is she the yeah? Um, she's in it, and then there's every scene I've seen from it. Basically, I'm just like, what is this? It's like some bizarre fever dream. Is it a real show? The trailer, God, looked terrible as well. But
It
I don't
did,
like
yeah.
people watch. I don't understand like all these random little spin-off. There seems to be hundreds of them. Like all these.
Most of
Do
them are
people watch
failing.
them? I'm yeah. Like
That's
Batwoman thing, whatever that was, didn't that
okay,
that
so
that failed?
you've never heard of Jay Longbone, but that's what like launched her channel to like
Okay.
higher reach. So if you watch anything from her channel first, I highly recommend her Batwoman reactions because they're
Okay.
absolutely hilarious.
I'll have to watch them.
Yeah, Batwoman's another one. Like I rewatch EFAP's like reactions to them, and they put it perfectly, which is like she is the worst superhero, if not even a hero, like you've ever come across. She lets people go. She lets murderers run free. She excuses people for almost killing people because they're gay. Like you could just go down the
Really?
list. Yes, and
Oh my God.
you're
Yeah.
just like, why do you like? What do you? It hurts my brain. It hurts my
There's that
brain.
there, of course that famous line, what is it? This bat suit, whether it's perfect, it will be once it
When it
fits a
fits a
woman. Like
woman.
that's how that's okay. Stop.
What woman? You look like a punk teenage boy. Like Ruby Rose. Like she doesn't even like she looks like a little boy. Like she looks like Jimmy Neutron or something. Like she
Didn't
doesn't.
she get kicked off the role or did she leave or something? Because then there wasn't there someone else. I'm like, how
She
is this
said
going
that
on this
she
long?
left, supposedly, and then she got replaced with a black woman because that's how it always goes. You just stamp a black woman on a female white woman character. That's how it works, right? Right, Ariel? Right? Okay. I
See, I don't get why Disney are doing all like I just wish people would just make new things. You
know,
know,
right? It's
just
like,
tell
are
good
y'all really at the bottom of the barrel that you're just regurgitating what you've already
yeah,
made? That's impossible. That's literally
yeah.
impossible.
The one that I actually did like was the and this wasn't James Corden's one, but the 2015 Cinderella with Lily James.
Mm,
I actually
mm,
liked that one because it was like different. It was still respectful to the source material
mm-hmm.
while being different enough that you didn't feel like you were just watching the animated movie again. Like it was different enough and unique enough. And then I was like, kind of like, oh, are they going to do that with all of them? And then like Beauty and the Beast and the others, it was just like a retelling, almost like scene for scene, just
Beauty and the Beast was
with the songs the same. And
that was the beginning of the end when we should have
yeah,
known better to not let this continue because like the second
yeah,
that like Gaston isn't as annoying as he was in the cartoon, the second that Belle can't sing without autotune, the second that Belle is now this feminist who teaches girls how to read, and
Mhm.
like men don't like that, even though women read back then. And it's like, I think you're missing the point of the whole situation. Like, the reason why the town didn't like Belle is because they just thought she was odd. Because, like, everybody's, like,
Mm.
working and, like, doing the rat race, and she's just out, like, being happy, reading her books, and, like, helping her father or whatever.
Well, they made
Like,
her the inventor, not her father, didn't they? Which was a bit unnecessary.
yes.
It's like, well, look, she's really smart already. She like, she's bookish, she's smart. That's fine. We can.
I,
Um,
Emma Watson had her fingers all over Belle. It wasn't Belle, it was Emma Watson. That's really
Emma
what it
Watson. Can
was.
I just say? Well, I was gonna say, I was gonna say this is a hot take. I don't think this is a hot take though. Emma Watson is not a good actress.
No, and she's not
I.
that good of a singer either, hence the auto
She can
tune.
do. She can do sort of Hermione Granger all right because she kind of. That's like
Yeah.
But oh yeah, no, this is completely irrelevant. Did you see Little Women? The
I did.
the
I did.
because I actually loved that, and I thought they were all like Saoirse Ronan's a fantastic actress.
She's a
Florence
fabulous
Pugh,
actress.
yeah,
Yeah.
Florence Pugh is a fantastic actress. I don't
Yeah.
know who the other sister was, but she was good. And then there's just Emma Watson, stilted, awkward, and it's so obvious because the others are all fantastic, so good at acting,
But she
and I was
was
just like,
in the
why
movie too much. So,
is she in it?
we just
Uh,
ignore
yeah.
when she's on screen. Can I tell you though, that movie was the first time I went to the movie theater and I cried from beginning to end.
Little Women.
Yeah, I've never done that before. I've never watched, like, I'll cry in a movie theater, but like not from like beginning to end. Like, I was dehydrated by the end of the
Really,
movie. I just, I don't know what it was. I think it was just seeing like the wholesomeness of like like sisterhood and like the love of
it
women.
was
Like, it was
it was a
just
lovely
beautiful.
film.
Yeah.
I've got I've got a funny story about it. Yeah, I went to see it with I didn't cry the whole way through, but I went to see it with my parents and then my youngest sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were sitting in the cinema, and my dad was on the end of the row, and then it was me, my littlest sister, and then my
Mm-hmm.
mum. And at
Mm-hmm.
one point in the film, it's when like, her sister's really ill. My dad just looks down the row, and my sister were all just like in floods of tears, and I'm there like hugging my little sister, and he's just like, what the fuck is going on? And then yeah, we're just like hysterically crying. It was I really liked that. I really liked that film. I thought it was really good,
I'm
but it
curious.
upset me so much.
I'm curious your thoughts if you think that Joe and Lori should have been together in this adaptation. Do you think they should have been together? My mom felt they should have been together. I think maybe, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe, but I do kind of like the Laurie and Amy pairing. I feel like it actually
Mm,
does kind of make sense because in some ways they are quite similar.
mm,
Um, and what I really liked about this is the first version of Little Women I've seen where I felt like they were realistic to Amy's character, but I didn't hate her. Like in all other versions, I've just hated her. I hated her so much in other versions I've seen. I hate Amy, but Florence Pugh somehow managed to make her um like she's still Amy. But she's likable and she's yeah. I don't know. She just brought like a warmth to it that I thought was um yeah, I don't know whether that's just the writing or her, but it was the best Amy I've seen, I think. But I don't know. Should they have been together? I don't know. I no, no. I always feel like theirs was more like a childish kind of like because they get on really well as kids, but would that translate to them as like um adults? I don't know.
mm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I just thought because they were such good friends all those years, and I think friendship is kind of a part of
Mm,
relationships, romantic relationships. So I was torn because I think Joe was just afraid um, that someone would even want to be with her, I think. And she was still figuring out who she was, and she just couldn't
mm,
handle all of that. And then by the time she realizes, like, maybe Lori and I could have, I think it's too late. And you can see there's like
mm.
regret from her. So
Part
I don't know.
I maybe I'd say with that though because there's isn't when Laurie's declaring his love and she's like I just can't I just don't feel that for you like and then also there's when she breaks down crying because she's sort of thinking maybe I was wrong maybe I should go to Laurie and it's like when she's talking to her mum Um, and the vibe I got from that was like that she's just lonely. It's just that
Mm.
she just feels isolated and lonely. And because she says, you know, I just want to be loved, or I just want to love. And her mum's like, but do you love him, or it's something like that. And it's like it's just that he's familiar and comfortable, and she doesn't really care about him in that way. That was more the vibe I got, I think, and that yeah, I just got a sense that she was more just a bit just lonely.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think the second guy was more suited to her though. But there
Yeah,
was that thing. Apparently, it's Louisa May Alcott, isn't it, who wrote the novel?
I think so. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because apparently the reason her publishers, and that's why they kind of entered the movie like they did, because I think her publishers um wanted for her to end up with Laurie or with a boy at the end to be happily, and she really didn't want to do that. She was like, she didn't want Joe to end
No.
up with anyone.
Yeah.
And then I think it was a joke that so she wrote in this like old kind of a bit odd professor just at the end, because they were like she has to end up with someone. So like as a like F you to them,
Mm-hmm.
she wrote in this to just be like, okay, she'll end up with someone, but he's gonna be some weird old professor guy, and ha ha ha. So like that's what I heard. I don't know how true that, but that's what I heard, that she did it just
No,
because,
yeah.
which
I had looked into the book a little bit, and the book is kind of meta. And I think the recent adaptation of it is kind of aware of its meta-ness, because I think
yeah,
the author is Joe, and
yeah.
in a way, she kind of projected herself as Joe, and then her
Well,
other
it's very
sisters. So,
yeah, because it's very like based on yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
It was
But it did make me cry throughout it, and I didn't think that was possible.
I did cry a fair bit. The film I've cried the most at to date is The Lovely Bones.
The Lovely
I
Bones.
just
Oh, yeah. I never
and,
watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
and
Yeah.
every time I've seen it, I've cried. Watched it when I was at I think it's at school actually. I watched it when I was like 17. Was that for the first time? And I remember like one of the teachers thought someone had died. There's someone in my family. It was like 2 hours later after I finished watching the film, and I was still crying. It was
Oh,
just
no.
oh got me right. It's a great film. I love that film. But yeah, I was like just sobbing. She's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I've just seen a really sad film. I'm fine. I'll be over it soon. Just ignore me."
But I think that's good. That's good, like filmmaking, and that's good acting when you can get
Oh yeah,
the audience to feel something, which
yeah, for sure.
again is the problem with Cruella, is that you don't feel
Yeah.
anything. I mean,
Just irritation. I was
humor,
bored and irritated.
yeah, or you're just laughing, and then you
Mm.
forget it's not a comedy, so you're just like, oh boy. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's all I have to really say about Cruella. I don't know if you have any final thoughts on anything.
Do I have anything? I'll check my like rage notes.
Yes.
Um, I don't know if I do. I think I've yeah, I think I kind of said it, everything. Yeah.
Mm.
It was such a such an annoying film. Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to ask about or talk about? Or
No,
yeah.
I think we got it
That's
all, at least from my end. And then let me know
hmm
when you want to talk about something, and I'll gladly have another wonderful discussion with you, because this was
hmm
wonderful, and again, like
Yeah.
a dream come true. So like I'm just so
Well,
honored.
thank you.